Hello, welcome to Brraap Life. I just want to say thank you guys so much for all of the feedback you guys are giving me. It's been really cool to know how much these stories mean to you. When I first started this, I wasn't really sure that anyone was going to listen. But from episode one to now, you guys have just been giving me so much feedback, and it's really cool to know that you guys are just as inspired as I am by these stories. So, I've got some more really awesome stories lined up for you guys. I'm super stoked. But if you know of a good story or you have a good story, message me. Let's talk. Let's get you on here. I don't have a shortage of people, but I'm always willing to hear more stories. This is exactly why I wanted to do this. It gets people excited. It gets people interested in each other. And some people have been like, I've known this dude for years and I didn't even know this part of his story. So, in today's episode, that's kind of my thing. I've known Ethan for about 10 years, and I didn't know how he got started in riding. I just knew that when I met him, he was a good rider. Um, but I had no clue where he came from. So it's cool to touch base and kind of see where the origins of Ethan happened. So Ethan and his wife Andrea have kind of, in my mind, always been associated with dirt bikes and street bikes as well. So it's really cool to finally sit down and talk to him and hear where it all started. So I hope you guys really enjoy this episode, and I'll see you next time. Well, welcome. I'm super
Thank you.
excited. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come and talk to me. Um, so, first of all, why don't you introduce yourself to the world? Let people know kind of where you're at and what discipline you are and what bike you're on, because I don't even know what bike you're on anymore. So, go
Sure,
for it.
sure. All right, so my name is Ethan Dahl. I've been riding probably since I was about 13 area was my first bike, but I primarily am in the hare scramble discipline. I do a little bit of enduro. I've tried that, and I've tried some state fair races, motocross races. Pretty much have tried everything I can get my fingers on just to give it a try. Um, I'm currently on a 2021 YZ 250F. And so far, that has been my favorite bike I've owned over the years. But yeah, it's been really good so far. It'd be nice to go every weekend and kind of get things done, but it gets tough with family and time and some of the financial stuff to the sport. But no, everything I can do, I participate, and was able to join a Golden Eagles motorcycle club here a little over a year now. So we do some trail rides with that and host events and things like that. So I have a good time. This is my passion, is riding dirt bikes. So
That's awesome. Well, so you said you got started riding when you were younger. Like, how did
hmm
you get into it? What did you like have a friend get you into it, or how did that go?
so my uncles, uh they're into racing hill climbs, and they did street bikes way back in the 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, the stories they would tell me, hey, we'd take our Harleys back before dirt bikes were what they are today, and they just see who could get up the hill the furthest, and then eventually turned into a competition. So
On a
I kind of always
Harley.
had a on old Harleys, and yeah, Nortons, Ducatis, Kajivas,
Oh
Husqvarnas, like
God.
old bikes. So, uh, but they're up there now in age, so they're not really doing that kind of stuff anymore. But it's slowly been trickling to my side of the family. But yeah, so I kind of always had that as a background. They had a motorcycle shop, but they were very much, you earn it, you don't get it. So I don't know, I never had a bike thrown my way, nothing like that. They helped me find my first bike, but
Yeah.
I remember I had to work up my babysitting money and mowing yards and things like that when I was a kid to get my first bike. But yeah, so that's kind of how that started and took off. And then after that, it's I've been hooked ever since. So
So you got into dirt biking first, and then how long was it when I met you, you were into street? How long until you got into street?
I suppose I got the street bike stuff was kind of just on the sideline. There was a
Okay.
couple year gap where I actually toasted a dirt bike, blew it up, trying to
Ooh.
supermoto it, and then so that kind of gave me a break on the dirt world. So and then I had friends
Mhm.
who did the street world. So I suppose I don't know, 5 6 years ago is when I first started doing the street stuff, and that kind of
Okay.
slowly turned into another good passion. But I had to let that actually go for a little bit because it was kind of you get one or the other. You know, can't go on my street bike all the time and crash it and fix parts, and I can't go race all the time and do all that. So it's kind of so I ended up picking dirt over street. But yeah, when we first met, I think that was right around when I was in my street heydays and kind of
Mhm.
doing that stuff. So, but
Yeah, I just remember one of the first times I met you. I think we were out on the bikes on street and you were just like wheeling the whole way down the road and I was like, "Oh my god."
yeah,
Like
this
this
guy's
is
crazy.
insane. Yeah, and I didn't really know you, so I was like, that's intense." I was like, "All right."
Yeah, yeah,
And then the
it was
first
a
time
fun
we
bike
went
too. I
dirt
miss that
biking.
bike.
Yeah, it was a nice bike. Then the
Yeah.
first time we went dirt biking down in Iowa, you were like the same on the dirt bike and I was like, how do you like you just have all of this, like you're constantly on one wheel, I don't understand. And I was over there like tipping over in the sand just like, why can't I do this, like I just want to go in a straight line.
Seat time
It
is
was,
just the key to bikes is just straight seat time. If you can get out there and you
yeah,
can throw a leg over and you can do some riding, it every I'm 33 now here, soon to be 34, and every time I go ride, I'm working on body positioning or just straight seat time. Each time you got to
yeah.
improve, get better and better. So
For those that are listening, if you listened to a previous episode, I believe it was Garrett's episode, I talked about Ethan. So this is the infamous Ethan who told me
mm-hmm.
when I went riding the second time ever, he was like, "Oh, don't worry, this place is easy." And I had to do a hill climb, and I had never gone uphill before. And I was like, "What is this? Oh my God, this is ridiculous." And I very quickly learned you don't trust Ethan when he says something's easy.
Well, just because the arrow's red doesn't mean you shouldn't go up it. You can still go up it. But
Yeah, for somebody who's brand new on a bike who'd never been, I hadn't even been on a bicycle since I was like 16. So like the concept of balancing was just so foreign to me. It was a fantastic day, but at the same time, I was a little stressed out going up that hill and then coming
oh,
back down later. Well, you were right
yeah,
though. Once we got to the top, it was all right. It was okay.
mm,
It was a little stressful though.
yeah. But that gave you a memory, so that's what the point
Oh,
was. You know,
for sure.
kept the drive
There's
going. I'm gonna get
definitely a
that hill next
memory.
time. Next time, think about it and then
I don't
conquer it.
I don't know that I ever got that hill because I stopped going to Snake Creek because it was so rutted out from all the ATVs.
Yep.
So then we started going to Waterloo all the time, and I don't think I've been back since. I think we went that same year on 4th of July, and I think those are the only 2 times I ever went to Snake Creek. So
Mm.
everything
Yeah,
else was Waterloo.
actually, last year I think I only went to Snake and the neighboring trail Trout, maybe one
Mhm.
time, but it gets tough. It's not quite maintained for dirt bikes and
Mhm.
side by sides, and the four wheelers kind of taken over, which is okay too. But everyone wants to go have fun, but when your fun is third, fourth, fifth gear, and a side by side comes around the other way, well, there isn't
It's a
much
little
room for
scary.
error. So yeah, so
Yeah. Side by sides and ATVs are very big out here in Maine, and it's a little
mm,
scary. And I am going a lot faster now than I was back on Gary. So I
yep,
was in fifth gear the other day flying down the road, and I knew there was a turn coming up because I've been on this trail a couple times. So I slowed down, and thankfully I did, because if I had just kept going, this dude would have drifted right into me with the side by side. So
mm-hmm,
it's a little intense. But like you said, everybody can have their fun. It's just I wish
yeah,
there was more single track up here because like I
mm-hmm.
really miss single track. There's not very much of it, at least not that I found up here. So
Yeah, and
Sucks.
unfortunately, that's kind of the plague of the corner of Minnesota that I'm in. There south of the Twin Cities, there isn't much, and it's really
Hmm.
hard to grow the sport here on a political scale. And that was kind of the
Hmm.
reason why I joined the Golden Eagles Motorcycle Club to invest into that and just try to grow our sport that way. Because we host our trail ride there, which you know of the
Hmm.
fall and spring trail rides that they do down in
Hmm.
Tomlin, and like even then it's right now we're on kind of a fine line of what we can and can't do and rules and things like that, but for the better, we hope the state is slowly kind of turning our way, and the DNR and stuff have been working with us a lot, and
That's
yeah,
good.
so
That's good to
hopefully
hear.
someday
A
we'll get
lot
some
of
more trails here.
places,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a lot of places it's going the opposite direction. But if you have enough people to advocate for it, I mean, it can make a big difference. Um, and it's just people like you who are joining clubs, getting your voice out there. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So helping out with those clubs is super important. I'm not here permanently. I'm only here short term, but I've donated to two of the clubs, essentially is what I'm calling it. Technically I'm part of
Mm-hmm.
them, but I'm not going to be here long enough to be in any events or anything. But
Sure.
they're the ones who maintain the trails out here. And for the fact that they're all ATV trails, because dirt bikes out here are classified as ATVs. Um, so they're ATV trails, but they're decently maintained. And there's a lot of them. You could go almost through the entire state of Maine. It's just you have to share it with side by
Wow,
sides.
that's really, yeah, you just gotta,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't get it to yourself, but you gotta share, but
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of transfer. So like my bike's not plated. But if you're
oh,
from Maine, you have to have it plated because to go between
sure,
sections, you have to go on the road like a couple miles, but it's still. So I
right.
didn't know that. And I was like sitting at the end of the trail and I was like, where am I supposed to go?
Yeah,
I don't know
it
where to go
ended. Now
because
there's
there's no
just
signs
what
or
happened to the
anything.
dirt?
Like, yeah, it's just like I don't know how to ride asphalt. What is this?
Yeah, yeah. This is my tires aren't meant for this. Where's the dirt? Bring the dirt back.
No, it was very weird. I had a local couple kind of show me around a little bit this last week, and they took me on it and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's right over here." And it was like half a mile down the road, if even that. But I was just like,
Hmm,
this is super weird. I was like, I haven't been on the road with a bike in a long time.
right,
It's
right.
very strange. So,
Mm,
now that I've been on a rant. So
yeah,
you mentioned like going on into different disciplines. So you've done like motocross, you've done hair scrambles, like
mm,
sprint enduro type things.
yep,
Have
sprint
you ever
enduro.
tried hard enduro?
So so this is where the battle of the bike kind of comes into play because I would participate
Mhm.
in more hard enduro stuff, but having like a more of I'm gonna throw up some air quotes here, some track kind of bike. Once the rocks
Mhm.
get bigger and I gotta ride kind of we'll say slower. I don't mean to be like
Mhm.
slower, but having the
Yeah.
suspension set up and stuff, it's a massive difference. If I have to crawl a rock hill and stuff with a hard suspension, kind of like moto tires versus getting a nice soft suspension bike with some nice gummy tires. I mean, if that ever came my way and I
Mhm.
had the opportunity, oh yeah, I'll definitely chuck my YZF down some rocks. But but if I can avoid the rocks, I might go around a couple of them,
You should come to North Dakota with me at the end of September and do the Schmedium Enduro. I'm gonna go out there and
Medium.
I'm gonna do that. It's Schmedium. It's
Oh,
not
that'd be
hard.
kind of
It's
cool.
just Schmedium.
Yeah, medium.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, it's a really cool last year was the first year that they put it on. So this is just the second year and I'm super excited to see the A guys and the B guys and gals are they're in for some fun. I've seen
Yeah, that's
parts of the track and I'm like, "Ooh, I'm glad I wouldn't have to do that." I'm C.
right. Right.
So
I mean, I
I'll stay in
enjoy
C.
watching hard enduro stuff, but I think I like watching it just to say, yeah, that looks it
Yeah.
looks pretty awful, but I'm just gonna watch it. Maybe
See,
someday
I'm
though.
terrible. I look at it and I'm like, all right, I could probably kind of do that. Like I could probably get over
Yeah.
it. I wouldn't look good doing it, but I could do it. Like,
Right, right. I'll get the
I'm
bike to the
crazy
top of
like
the
that.
hill.
I'm ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. I'll do it. It might take me 100 tries, but I'll do it. Like I'm
Mhm.
determined. But yeah, it's completely different. And yeah, the setup is totally different for the bike. But
Mhm.
I just didn't know because I knew you watched it. Like I'm pretty sure the first time we watched Erzberg was with you. Um, maybe not, but I thought you were there. Maybe it was just
It could
Supercross,
have been
but
on a situation where we're all together and flicked it on
yeah.
and
I think we were
watched
watching
it.
in the
But
garage or
yeah, like
something.
the Sea to Sky and
Yeah.
like Raceburg, all that stuff's
Yeah.
super cool. And those guys are just awesome, top tier athletes. And well, being in Minnesota, we just don't have that kind of elevation or any of that terrain really to practice on. So
Yeah.
it'd be a struggle bus
Yeah.
all day,
I hear
but maybe someday.
Meadow Valley's supposed to have some pretty decent sections. I've never been there, so next time I come out there, I really want to hit it.
Yeah, yeah, Meadow does good. He's got a couple river bottom sections, and I know he'll bring in some trials riders in there. And we've come up on the
Mhm.
trials rider stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I'll let them have that.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
yeah, he's
suppose when
got
you
some
go to
good
Meadow, you
trail
want
in
to go
there.
fast.
So sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was I heard it was pretty awesome out there. So
Mhm.
hoping to get back there semi soon. I mean, September is not too far, I guess.
Oh,
Gosh,
well,
it's already like
come around the
mid-July.
corner,
Anyway.
so yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what bike did you start on? You said that you had help finding a bike. What bike did you start?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be a little fudgy with the years. I don't exactly remember if it's maybe like a 75 or 78 Kawasaki 125. We'll class it as more of an enduro
Wow.
style, but it would be your old metal gas tank looking bike with a big banana seat, really wide handlebars, two stroke, little 125. That would have been my first bike. So I had
Okay.
that for a couple of years, and then pushed myself into a TTR 225. I think that, again, I'm not exactly sure on the year. I want to say a 2001, 2002 area. And then
Okay.
after that, I thought I was just top dog. So went to a dealer and bought a 450 YZ 450F. So going from a TTR, and then I jumped up to a 450, thinking I can handle this. This is just fine. It was a used bike, but that was a 0304 YZ 450F. So that thing was just a monster. That was just hard to tame it in the woods. I was pretty young, maybe not even 21 yet. But yeah, I did that
Jeez.
bike, and then I turned that into my like supermoto attempt, and then that's when I grenaded the motor, and then you're 21 years old. I didn't really have too much money to be rebuilding this bike anymore. So it kind of just got stuck to the side, and that's when I got into the kind of the street bike stuff that we were talking about before. So
Yeah.
picked up that kind of riding,
Yeah. Okay.
but yeah, and then met a bunch of guys
That's
that new guys, and everyone wanted to ride dirt bike again. So I picked up YZ. I'm sorry, WR 250F 2015. And as a trail bike, 'cause I thought we were all going to be trail riders, so grabbed that bike and put a good 100+ hours on that thing, and yeah, then ended up getting that white YZ 250F. I remember that one, and then after that, I was hooked on a track bike. Just straight up wanted to learn jumps, and
mhm.
just cruising around in hare scrambles was a blast. But then I was starting to get a little older, so I wanted that button. Going from a WR with a little easy push button to going back to kicking a track bike, I was like, nah, now we got a good job now. Let's go buy a nice toy. So
Yeah.
that's where I picked up my 21 YZ250F. I think I just crested 150 hours on that motor, so this winter it'll be a tear down and giving it a look over. But I maintain my stuff pretty good nowadays,
Wow.
so she runs like a champ.
That's good. So, how's your season
Mm-hmm.
been going so far? How many
So
races have
this
you
year
done?
I've only gotten to do one hair scramble so far this year. Kind of with work and family and stuff. It's been tougher this year to get out, and then just with times to spend the money's kind of, do I want to do this or not? But yeah, I made it to the
Yeah.
Cambridge hair scramble. I seen Garrett up there and a couple other guys I know. So it was
Okay.
nice to see some friendly faces again and say hi to the racer guys. So, but currently I'm in Vet B, so 30B. So I'll go up there and have some laughs and do
Okay.
my best just to make the 2 hour race. So it's pretty fun,
Pretty fast.
right?
I remember you being really fast, but no offense, I don't remember you being that fast. Holy crap.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Well,
awesome. That
we were doing C.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I say we were doing C class and Sportsman One for a little bit, and then a couple of the buddies were like, "Nah, you need to go up. You need to just go up to the next level." So I did that, committed to B class, and then after that, it's been tougher, but I feel better at the end of the day saying I got to race B over C. So I might not do as good in B, but it's
Yeah.
it's pretty fun. So it's a
Okay.
good time.
I mean, when I met you, you were pretty good on the bike already. Like I said, you're always doing wheelies and stuff all the way around. And, you were at a level that I couldn't even imagine at the time being
Mhm.
at. But I think that riding with people above you, riding with people who are faster than you or more technical than you or whatever, like it challenges you and makes you a better rider. So I think that's
Definitely
that's
does.
really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. It's awesome that you push yourself like that.
Yeah, yeah. My head says that's awesome, but my body at the end of the race says, why did I do that? That made no sense at all. But that's going from the Sea World
Do you
or Sportsman
you
One
find
up to
that
B, that working out and trying to keep your body in shape makes a huge difference. And I slack super hard on that. I know all my buddies know that. So for me, it's just kind of chucking a leg over the bike. Hey, look, let's go race this weekend.
that was gonna be my next question. Just go out there and you just do it. You don't have any prep that you do like the day before the race or anything.
I should be careful with what I say the day before the race, but yeah, there's been some fun moments for sure uh, where I should have probably put the bottle down and drank some water and then let's go race now. But yeah, there's been my first enduro actually. Oh, that was an adventure. It was a 2 day enduro in Dayton, Iowa, and I only brought a couple
Mhm.
drinks for all the guys, so 3 or 4 each, no big deal. We weren't racing until the next
Yeah.
day, and yeah, they all said they didn't want to drink. They're like, no, 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 which is good. If you're gonna, anyone listening, if you don't want to drink and your buddies are pressuring you, more power to you to hold your ground. You don't got to do what the other guys are doing. So, but yeah, I ended up polishing off a lot of it myself, let's say. And yeah, the next morning was really rough,
God.
but it was my first enduro. I entered B class and I got third place, and I beat all the guys that I went to the enduro with. So I got to kind of push it back at them. Say, haha, beat you.
Wow.
But I was suffering. Boy, I was suffering after
Like
that.
it was that extra. I bet. Oh my
But
god, that's crazy. I can't believe it. It's
yeah.
so funny. There's a lot of people that I know who just like, for sponsorship and they're just doing it to have a good time, to have the experience.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
but it's so funny because some of those guys are just like, oh, like I'm like super zen the day before, like I've got to make sure that like I'm eating a good meal and I'm like, getting a workout in or something or
Yeah, getting the
and
proteins in right, getting your
then other
carbs
people are
in.
just like, "Nah, I just go the next day."
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
if I were
It's
to
all
really start
it's
taking it seriously, I'd
all
probably need to hit my elliptical and my rower a lot more and stuff like that. But
difference.
yeah, it can make a huge difference.
It's gonna be my okay. So your motivation's changed a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I would say last year I took it a lot more seriously and was trying to hit a lot more stuff, but as things kind of went this year, I kind of had to take a break. We just got our house, so that's taking a huge bite into the pocket, which is fine. But I hope in the next year or two to be bouncing back and start racing more and things like that.
Mhm.
I think in the end for me, it's just about
That'll be
putting a
fun.
smile on my face,
That'll be
throwing
really
a
cool
leg over the bike, seeing friends. So
yeah, the experience.
exactly, exactly. If I get to leave with a smile on my face, it don't matter to me if I got first or not. I'd like to get first, but
There's so many women who ride now, and they're fast.
yes.
So it's like you got to be super competitive even in women's classes now. They're starting to get really really competitive. And even in hard enduro, there's some gnarly chicks out there. Oh my gosh. It's awesome though.
Oh
But
yeah.
I'm like I'm just there for the experience.
Even
Okay,
even the
as
like
long as I don't
racing I've
get
been
dead
doing.
last. I can get second to
Yeah.
last and I'm good, but not dead last.
Right. Don't want to be the caboose coming up the back. But
Yeah.
no, I even this year I noticed it a lot more too with our
Wait, you were
spring
saying?
trail ride. With the women riders, our spring trail ride this year
Mhm.
for the club, there was a ton of younger, middle aged, older girls, gals, women on bikes, and the most I've ever seen ever out at our trail ride, and that's just cool. It's cool to see. It's not a dude. It doesn't have to be just a dude sport. It's just guys and girls just ride a bike. It's worth it. So, and even in the racing scene, like you're saying, there's so many more. The Cambridge class was stacked
Yeah.
with
I
chicks, and I thought that was awesome.
Mhm. Yeah. We gotta get Andrea on a bike.
Yeah, we've had that discussion. I don't know if she draws a line there. She says I can go have my fun, but it's not quite her thing per se.
It's not her thing.
Right.
Yeah. Is he into them?
Yeah, she likes it. I think she likes it because I like it. But no, she does really good, kind of supporting me. And there's actually a local track here, uh, about 5 minutes from my house. It's private though, but I've been helping a gentleman out there kind of put a track together, and his boys riding, and been working with him a lot as much as I can. And he's younger, so I try to throw little pointers at him here and there. And uh, yeah, we got Axel out there the other day. He's got a little electric zipper, but yeah, Andrew does
Oh, that's
good
awesome.
supporting us and letting us go play and things like that. And I don't blame her when it's 80 degrees outside and you got to sit in the hot sun for a whole day straight watching everyone else kind of ride. It's kind of understandable that someone doesn't necessarily want to be there for that, but she does good. They're very supportive through it, so yeah, I think she likes it in the end.
Yeah, that's good. She's always seemed super supportive of you just but then when you guys had Axel, I was just like, ooh, this will be interesting to see if Ethan keeps riding or not. So it's really
Yeah,
cool to
yeah.
see you still riding. You kind of moved disciplines. You got more into the motocross stuff, which scares the crap out of me. So kudos to you because yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe one day, but I haven't worked up to that yet. I'm scared.
It's fun. It's fun. It's definitely has its own thing. You know, racing 2 hours in the woods versus racing 5, 10 laps. I only do C class for moto, and I get my butt kicked. And I don't. It's tough. I mean, you do 2 motos through a day, and man, I'm beat. You know, it'd be really tough for me to say which one's harder. Um, they're both quite a lot of work. So
I'm just scared of jumps. I did the one time I did a jump in Iowa and I landed the jump, but then I crashed like 2 seconds later. And
that happens.
I was like, yeah, I don't really know. I was like, I don't know
Yeah.
if that was a good idea. And I was told that the bike wasn't the right bike to be jumping on. So I was like, that's probably all right. We're just gonna use that as the excuse. So
Yeah, just like the enduro world with nice soft cushy bikes, kind of same thing with the MX. I'm not saying you can't ride any discipline with any bike because you sure can, but there's definitely bikes that make it easier and more comfortable to ride one discipline over the other. But that's okay though. That's part of the fun.
yeah, I think eventually I'll try it. I just to do that, and I'm like, first of all, my bike is not set up for that. My suspension is way too soft, and I have a gummy tire on the back, so that is not going to be a good time. I feel like, but I also only have. I think I just hit 21 hours on this bike, so I want to get used to it in the way that it's supposed to be ridden first before doing things that it's
Sure, kind of off its original
not,
point, but I was
not
going to ask you
really
what
meant to.
are you on right now for a bike?
I went out and got myself a TE 300 Pro.
Okay,
So I'm on a
300 two stroke.
Husqvarna. Yep. Yep.
Wow, that's a
I
good woods
graduated
bike
to a
right there.
two-stroke.
Yeah.
Large. Yeah. Oh my God. I absolutely love it. I rode, I think it was like a 22 when I was in North Carolina, and I had been riding a KTM. It was a 300. I don't remember what it was. But it was a beast of a bike. I didn't know it was race tuned, so I was having all kinds of issues with it. Plus the fact that I'm short, so I was trying to ride this bike that's a full size bike, and
Yeah, you're trying to
this
tame
guy
a bike
switched me
instead of
bikes and
being
he let
able to
me
ride the
ride
bike.
his Husky, and I was like, ooh. Ooh, I like this. Had it set up. So I rode his and I really liked it. I went and I rode an X Trainer. I rode a couple more KTMs. I rode a Honda. And I was just like, I don't know. I was like, I really liked that Husky. And then I got to ride another one that was newer. And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sold on this. So I just went in to
Hmm.
look, which is the walked out owning a new bike. So
That's how they get you every time. Yeah, you're just gonna go. I just want to go look at a new bike, and then, oh, well, I guess I'm loading one
yeah.
up.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, that was actually the funny thing. I couldn't even take it home that day. The day that I went to go look, um, um, it was like negative 65 degrees in North Dakota. So they wouldn't let me take it home because it was too cold. And they said the seals would all bust because they would freeze. So
Oh, well, negative
I had to go
25
back
is
like a
very,
week
very
later.
cold for some rubber seals. So yeah, I guess I could see that, but really, you just want to
Six.
get your bike, so it could be worth it.
Yeah. 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 It was,
Oh,
so it was negative
65.
65.
Wow.
And then, yeah. So, and then when it warmed up to negative 25, they said that as long as it was above -30, it was fine. So my first ride was in -5 degrees.
Nice. That's that's warm. -5. Minnesota. That's nothing, right?
Are you there?
Might as well have your t-shirt and shorts on.
It was a little cold. I could not feel my legs, but
Oh,
it was not terrible.
but you got to get out and ride, and that's
Living
the
in
point.
North Dakota
Getting out
made
and
me
riding.
I could go anywhere in the world, all expenses paid. Where would you want to go, and what kind of bike would
What kind
you
of
want to
bike?
ride?
That's a good question. Anywhere I could go with any bike. I think I would really like to do some kind of adventure riding. So even here in the States or something, to be able to ride
Oh,
from top of the Rockies down south and get like a four-stroke 350 KTM or something, and have that loaded with gear, and then put some adventure miles on. I think that's kind of the style that if I could financially just go and do it, I think I would do it. Yeah, that'd be a blast. Just a couple of buddies and some camping gear and your bikes,
yeah,
and you just
sure.
hit the road, so, or trailer over, or however you got to do it, and then do that kind of stuff.
I like then. I definitely thought you would like go find some like supercross track or something crazy like overseas or something. And
Yeah, that it'd be fun. It'd be fun, but yeah, just to get some cool views on a bike. Even like I think my next bike, if I could go pick one, would be like a Honda Africa Twin, like 1100 or something, and saddle it up and just hit some roads with it, and kind of make my way to the mountains and kind of go
ooh,
adventuring. I think that'd be a blast. So that's kind of what I hope for the future to eventually go do. So
how did you learn? Like, did you have somebody teach you, or like did you do like formal classes? Did you just like figure it out?
yeah, so that would be for the most part just kind of figuring it out, and like starting back on the first bike. It's not like my parents really didn't take me anywhere to ride, so it'd be kind of riding in a small backyard, couple acres of a field, between harvest and stuff, and if a farmer was okay with it. And then well, I did have a family cabin, and in the summertime we were able to haul the bikes down to the cabin, and then if it wasn't flooded around it, then you were good to ride bike kind of in the woods close to the cabin. So just kind of dorked around with bikes doing that. And yeah, I really didn't start picking up riding hard until I had more friends to go do it with, got a little older, and was able to travel by myself. But really, it's all just been a straight figure it out. My group of buddies, even when we snowboard, you're starting way back then, it's either keep up or be left behind. So it's kind of a rough way to start riding and things like that, but I think it worked out good in the end. And but I definitely will watch like instruction videos and posture videos, and I was able to take one class with Kiddock Logan, hosted a class, and I was able to do a half day
Mhm.
class with him, and that
Oh,
was really
cool.
helpful. Even a small class, like if you get the opportunity to take some for a couple hours, having someone who really knows what they're doing watching you to critique you, because you may think you're in a good body position, but in their eyes, you're sitting way too back on the seat, or something like that. And that was a really helpful, actually. Every time I ride, I yell at myself to sit more forward on the seat because he kept yelling at me to do it. taking a
It's
taking
funny
a
how
turn,
you
get
hear
forward
that
on the
like
seat. Yeah, I'd push
all
you
the time.
forward. So yeah. Outside that, it's just been riding with buddies who kind of push
Yeah,
the
I
sport
agree
with
with
you.
that.
So
Yeah, that's really cool. it's a very different way. I've been learned that like guys and girls learn very different. And it's a lot more stressful for girls when we get put in that position of just like figure it out. Like
Hmm.
just go, just guys. I don't know if we must overthink it or something, but it's just so stressful. And it's like time and again, I've heard the same thing where guys are like, yeah, I just kind of went out and started doing it. And a lot of the times, not always, but a lot of the times women are like, I need somebody to show me. Like I can't do it unless I see it.
Mm. And
And like I'm the
patiently
same
show
way.
you. That's
Like
a
I've taken clinics and it's made yes. Yes. The patience is a big thing for sure. Um Patience like you said is a big thing, but and watching the videos has been a big thing, but also going to events and seeing like everything that you learn is kind of in context, right? You can hit a log like 50 different ways, but
mhm.
seeing people do it in real life has made a huge difference for me personally. Now that technical difficulties are over.
Yeah, and now we went from a laptop to a phone, so I
Yeah.
guess my laptop wanted to update.
Well, you know, we all want to get better, so it's fine.
Mhm, mhm.
um, um, okay, so I think the last thing that we were talking about was basically just saying that like clinics, like having formal training definitely is a big help. We've both experienced that. Um, so, highly recommend doing a class at some point to people. That's my personal preference. I'm doing an online platform now. I'm doing Cody Webb's platform. I just started that last week and I'm absolutely
Okay.
loving it because there's not a whole lot of clinics that come out to the Northeast up here. So I haven't been able to find anything that I can actually physically go to. So it's been super, super helpful for me. So highly recommend it if you're into that kind of like off-roading. It's probably a little different than what you're doing. But
Probably a little different, but yeah, no, that's really cool though to be able to do that. And it was crazy how in the last 10 years ago people weren't really doing it, or I wasn't aware of clinics, and yeah, more and
yeah.
more popping up. So that's definitely a really good thing for beginner or even intermediate people like me that maybe I could be critiqued. It doesn't hurt to
Yeah.
get critiqued. It only makes you better.
Yeah.
So it's always
Yeah,
worth
for
it if
sure.
any local rider or pro has something they're going on and doing to go try that stuff. So
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really cool for like people, like you who've been riding a long time to understand that, it's okay to know that you don't know how to do it. Maybe the most efficient way. You probably know how to do it, right? Like you've been doing it all this time, but
hmm
maybe there's a way that you're going to be less tired doing it. So,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's huge, especially in your world. You said you've got 5 to 10 minute motos or whatever, and that's a very short amount of time to make mistakes. There's not a whole
yeah.
lot to recover.
No, and just even like exercising when you're riding, even trail riding, just to tell yourself to breathe. Because I feel pretty lucky now. I really don't cramp often or get muscle lock unless it's towards the end of a long, hair scramble or something. But just being able to tell yourself, hey, breathe, breathe. Because if you hold your breath for even a turn or two, you've held your breath for way too long. You just got to keep breathing, get the air in, get your blood moving, and it makes a huge difference of how long you can ride and for how hard you can ride for. So yeah, any kind of
Yeah.
classes and stuff like that to you know teach you is always a good thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really glad that you said that because I'm huge on formal training. I love it. I
Mm.
For me, it's really hard because I'm so small on such a big bike. And so there's a couple videos I've taken of me doing hill climbs, and my friends will look at it and they'll be like, "Why aren't you standing up?" And I'm like, "I am standing up."
That's as high as my legs can get
Yeah,
me.
because the
Yeah.
bike is so big. Oh my god. But having somebody who can like look at me in person and be like, okay, here's what we got to do to modify this. That makes a big difference for me. But um, yeah, I
Exactly. And in this sport, the dirt bike sport, there's a lot of ego. There's a lot of
yeah.
ego in it of I'm the best, I don't make mistakes. But you're right, when someone's there to watch you and you're in a class and you're working with posture and things, and that rider's telling you, hey, you're not as good as you think you are. You always have room for improvement. I'll race, a couple of buddies are 40, 50, almost 60-year-old guys I'll go race with, and they'll kick my butt. Like a couple of them, it's like I hope at that age I can still ride as long as hard as they can keep
Yeah.
on riding. So it's yeah. There's always room for improvement.
Yeah. See, I'm the opposite though. When I go into a situation like that, I'm like, it's probably a confidence thing, but I'm always like, I suck. I don't know what I'm doing at all. And usually they're like, you're actually better than you thought you were. And I'm like, am I? Okay. All right, cool. But I will not oversell myself. Like when I went riding with these people last week, I didn't ask them what they ride. I knew they ride like they race, but I didn't ask them what class, and that was stupid on my part. Um, but we take off and they are just flying. And I was like, oh,
Gone.
okay. I told them that I'm a C class rider. I was like, if if there was a D class, I would be D class. Like that's how fast I ride. And they were just like, oh, no worries. Like, we'll wait for you at turns. And I was like, okay, cool. At least I'm not going to get lost. And then
Right.
because I saw them take off, I was like, okay, I'm going to try and keep up. Because for whatever reason in my head, I was like, um, yeah, I don't know. Like they're gonna be like around my speed. I don't know why, but they
Mhm.
were not. They're basically equivalent to B class and A class riders. And I was kind of dying. I
Yeah,
was
that's
trying to
and
keep
even
up and
that's
I
a
was like,
big
oh my
jump
god.
going from B's to A's. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but I've definitely been
They
there,
were
done that. Hey, I can keep up with these guys. Then you find yourself hitting a tree or something like, oh, I should tone it off a little bit.
I didn't hit any trees. I'm very proud of myself. I
Good.
I dropped the bike twice, and both times were more technical areas. And like basically, my biggest problem is stopping because where to put my foot down, there's not always a spot where I can just like, I
Quick
just end
lean
up tipping
over it.
over.
Yeah, get a hip over and put the
Yeah.
foot down to the floor. So,
Well, yeah, and sometimes like this side of the bike's a little bit higher and I misjudge it and that's when I end up falling. So, or I
mhm.
slip off the rock. That's what happened one of the times. So, I'm still working on that, but most of my falls are just like boop instead of like, slamming into a tree or falling off of a cliff or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure I'll get back there eventually when I start doing like really hard shit, but right now
Uh-huh.
I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm building my confidence on the bike. I'm not doing anything too crazy right now, so right now, just until
Right
I
now.
get further
Still to
south.
come.
Yeah. Yeah. After my contract's done here, I'm going to North Carolina, and North Carolina has
Oh.
some pretty gnarly stuff that I plan on trying. So
Yeah, that'd be really
then I
cool.
might
It's
fall off
cool
a
that you're
cliff.
able to jump around between the states with work and stuff and get to ride different
Yeah.
places. Cause yeah, I'm kinda stuck more local, so you do
Mhm.
get tired of the same thing over and over, but it's more or less still being able to ride is better than not. So, that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. But I think, it's a little bit it's kind of hard traveling so much because I don't have a core group of friends. I don't have people that I can just call up and be like, "Hey, let's go." Or even plan like, "Hey, in a month, like let's all get together and go like we used to go down to Iowa." Like
Mhm.
I can't do that. And I'm riding alone, which one is not that safe. But two, I'm getting in a like a zone. So like I'm getting real comfortable in my zone, but I'm not pushing myself out of it. And I can
Mhm.
definitely tell that, but again, it's not safe to be pushing the limit and going and doing super techie stuff by myself and things like that. So I'm
Right.
keeping it within reason. But when I do get people, I'm like, I don't even care what you ride. Let's go. I've got friends for the day.
Right, I got someone to go play with, basically.
Exactly. But then
Yeah.
you also in Minnesota, or at least in Iowa, I knew the trails. So I felt more comfortable going by myself. Same thing
Mhm.
with North Dakota. After the first few times, I knew the trails. I out here, the trails go on forever. So I'm just like, there's not really any knowing the trail. And I got kind of lost the other day. I've got a Garmin, so I like can find my way back.
Mhm.
Um, but it's kind of scary.
Oh,
So,
for
you
sure.
know, when you're in a situation where you know all the stuff, you know all the areas, you know the people who are going to be around, you kind of have an idea of who you might see, or it's a surprise sometimes. You're like, hey, I haven't seen you in forever. But I think there's definitely pros and cons to each thing. It is really cool that I've gotten to ride like all over the country, and I love that. That was my goal, is by the end of 2025 to ride all 50 states. I'm at 11 right now. So I don't know if I'm going to make
Almost there.
2025, but
Only a
we'll
couple to
see.
go. That's really cool, though.
On my
I
way.
don't know too many people who have that opportunity to even say that, so, I mean, that's awesome. Awesome to be able to do that and keep riding, so and as long as you're having fun enjoying it, that riding a bike's all that matters, so as long as you can get out there and get it.
Exactly. Exactly. I can't wait to come back to Minnesota and ride. I'm going to get all of you guys. We're all going to go ride somewhere. The
Yeah,
whole
that
old
sounds like a
crew.
fun. Yeah, that'll be good. We'll have to wait for it to dry a little bit. It's been raining so much here that even north of the cities towards Duluth, a lot of the big forests up there, the clubs have been asking, "Hey, don't go ride these trails right now because they're just swamps, so they got to go back and fix them
Wow.
all." So a lot of flooding on some of our riding, but
That's
it is what it
crazy.
is. Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess, I mean, that's the hazard of living somewhere like Minnesota, but
Hmm.
that's I didn't realize it was that far north. I knew Mankato got hit really bad. I saw the news stuff on that.
Yeah,
The
yep.
dam
That
and
dam going
everything.
out and things.
That's crazy. But so I figured like the Cato Cycle Club was probably having some issues.
Yeah,
I
and
saw
they
they had to
they got
cancel
wiped
some stuff.
out. They got flooded off really bad in their lower parking area and stuff. I think now the club
Ugh,
has been able to get in and get it all fixed and get it clean, but yeah, they took on a ton of water. We got over 11 inches of water last month. So outside a couple big
good
storms, I
lord.
mean, it just kept on raining every other day, so it was building.
That's crazy. Arizona gets like
Yeah,
6 inches of water a year. So,
yeah, yeah. We doubled that in a month.
yeah. Wow. That's incredible. Well,
Mhm.
I think that's oh, well, we'll find somewhere that's dry. By the time I come up
Fair
there,
enough, yeah.
it'll be like September. So by then, hopefully it'll be dry and we
Yeah,
can
by then
find
all the rivers
somewhere.
will have subsided. We'll be yeah, be good to go.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get our own little trail ride
Mhm.
together and it'll be a good time. Hopefully I'll do my riding justice when I'm out there with you guys. But I mean, what are you gonna do? You'll be on a track bike in the woods.
That's okay. I
I'll
don't
have
I
a
don't
leg
mind.
up. I'll
Yeah,
have a
we'll
leg
see.
up
We'll
on you
see.
just a little bit.
Just remember if you
Just a
get
little
passed by a track bike in the woods, you got passed by a track bike in the woods.
I won't have my feelings hurt too much by that because
Okay. All right.
I I I have no expectations about how good or not good that I'm gonna be.
Mm.
But I'm kind of hoping that I'll be coming from the East Coast, so there's some pretty gnarly riding out here, and I plan on hitting multiple states on my way down to North Carolina. So I'm gonna go to like West Virginia has the Hatfield and McCoy's Trail. I'm gonna see if I can get in at Tamaqua in Pennsylvania. There's a couple other places that are pretty gnarly that I'm super excited to try and hit. So I'm gonna hopefully come from that and like a lot of elevation and rocky and roots, and then come to Minnesota and just be like, all right, this is good.
Smooth sailing now, yeah.
That's what it'll feel like. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe now that everything's flooded, there's a bunch of stuff exposed, so it'll be like riding out here.
just more sand. We get to have more sand then.
Oh, I forgot about the sand.
Yeah,
Oh, we don't have sand
sand's the
here. Dang
funnest.
it.
Hmm.
Yeah, you got to go ride in Arizona if you think sand is fun. Oh my
Yeah.
lordy. Yeah.
Have you got to do
Every
any dune trips yet?
No, I have not.
Okay.
That is on the list. One of the places that I applied to is in Oklahoma. So if
Yep.
I get that one, then obviously it's right there. So
Yeah, yeah. Little Sahara Sand Dunes is right there in Oklahoma. We went down and did that one last
yeah.
winter or so, and that was a blast. Riding the dunes was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty
That's
cool.
a
And
bucket list for any dirt biker. You gotta go to the dunes at least one time in your riding career. So,
did you have a paddle tire or did you have a normal tire?
oh yeah, you definitely need to. You're gonna need to have a. If you're a small displacement bike, you're definitely needing a paddle tire for sure. My 250 was just screaming the whole time, the whole week we were there. If you can get yourself a 450 for the weekend, I would highly recommend a big four stroke. There's a couple two
Okay.
stroke bikes out there, but yeah, so it can be done. I don't know if I would, but it's all fun. So
It's a little bit of a different ride than what I'm used to, but I
yeah.
definitely I will try it eventually. It's just
Hmm.
getting around dunes. There's not really dunes around here, so
No,
but
yeah, it's
you need
definitely
to get to
you can get the flag on the bike, and then you get yourself a paddle tire, and yeah, it's a blast. Definitely, everyone should try it at least once. So you'd have a good time,
yeah.
no matter what bike you're on.
I will definitely have to do that. You guys went to Missouri a few years back, right? You guys did trail riding out there?
Yeah, Chadwick, maybe it was Chadwick,
Okay.
Missouri.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
How did you like that?
yeah, that was actually where I got to break in my brand new bike. Was we went there and then got there and it was nothing but rocks. So
Yep.
that was fun.
I was gonna say I've heard it's pretty gnarly out there. So
Yeah, there's definitely some trails out there they're a workout. Definitely a lot of rocks everywhere. So, but it's fun. It it's another one of those places to go check out and see. I remember some of the water there was just the clearest water because there's just no gritty soil in it in the rock. So the water is just so clear, and we're coming down gullies, and you think it's maybe a couple inches deep, and it's 2, 3 feet deep because the water is just so
oh my
clear at the bottom of the
god.
gully. And then you learn real quick to not drive through the center of the puddle. You got to go around the edges. But it was awesome. Good time.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome to hit up. The next time I go cross country, I definitely plan on trying to get through Missouri because it looks pretty intense.
Yeah,
So,
it was fun. It's a blast for sure. Maybe
oh,
grab
that's
yourself like
awesome.
a local once you get there or something and have them give you a tour around. But yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty cool adventure too.
awesome. See, you do get to get out at least a little bit.
Oh
You
yeah,
might not
a
think you
little
do,
bit.
but you get to do
Yeah.
some. So that's fun. And just think in a few
Mm,
years you'll be able to take your son and you'll be able to enjoy stuff like that with him if he's into it. So
absolutely. Yeah, that's another thing that hopefully coming, and then kind of every kind of rider decides how to transport your bike. So that'll
mhm.
be possibly changed. Do you go to with the moto van because a lot of people are in the vans now, or do you get a trailer, or
Mhm.
just stick with the pickup truck, or who knows what'll happen? There's so many options nowadays on how to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think moto van life is my next move. So,
Mhm.
I hate
As Scooster
having the
swears
bike.
by it, he's definitely moto van now
Yep.
for life. So
Yeah. I can't handle the bike being on the back of the truck, like, cause well, I have an SUV, so it's on the hitch carrier
mhm.
in the back, and I can sleep in the car
Oh, for
just
sure.
fine, but then I'm stressing out, like, when I'm traveling across the country, I'm like, "Is that somebody trying to steal my bike?" And I'm like, every little noise.
Yeah. No, I
So
hear you there, and it's unfortunate you got to think like that, but yeah, it doesn't take long to lose a bike, unfortunately. So
mhm.
it's smart you're
As
thinking
I
about that
know.
at least. So yeah,
Well,
as
my
you do.
bike
Yeah,
in
you
North
do know.
Dakota got stolen. Yeah, it got stolen right out of the garage. Like, the
Right.
garage
That's what I
door
had
was
heard.
down. So, yeah,
Hmm.
it was ridiculous. I mean, thankfully I got him back, but Gary is mangled. He needs work. So, if
Yeah.
you know a good bike mechanic, let me know. But yeah, so I have, like, insurance on this bike, but I would seriously cry
Hmm.
because I freaking love this bike. Oh my god, he's my baby. So if I lost him,
Yeah.
I'd be devastated. I don't care if I got another one. I've put a lot of work into this bike.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you get a nice bike and you really like it, and then you start buying trinkets for it, guards and
Yep.
skid plates and levers.
Yep.
Gotta always buy levers.
Yeah, I've done well, the suspension I got done. So I had to respring it because the suspension was too stiff. And it
Mhm.
basically the bike had no idea I was even there. Like, I would
R
stand on it and it wouldn't move at all. And I was
right,
like,
just hard as a
oh,
rock. Yeah.
yeah. I was like, this is kind of not gonna work for me. So I got a different spring put
Mhm.
in. I think it's from 150, a KTM 150, I think. Um so it's a lot softer. It works better for me. Everything's set for me now. But it's not actually truly lowered. So I'm riding a full size bike. So
Nice,
everybody,
nice.
I don't know, everybody has a different thought on whether or not I should lower it or keep it as is and just try and deal with it. Um, I'm kind of right now just trying to deal with it because I don't want to lose the clearance. I really like
Right,
having the
yeah,
extra
that's
clearance
problem
on
with
it.
lowering it and moving linkages around or have not or
Mhm,
cutting seats is, yeah, now you're only gonna hit the ground with the frame that much faster, so I
mhm.
guess my opinion would be if you can handle it the way it is, I would just if you already got your suspension dialed for you, then it's just leave there and let it buck.
Yeah. Yep, that's pretty much what I've been doing. So I don't I don't know. Like I said, I don't plan on lowering it right now, but once I get into like hard enduro, then I might have to. Just because being able to put your foot down is
Right.
so much more important for that world, but I'm not
Mhm.
quite there yet. So maybe by then I'll just be so good at like sliding from side to side on the seat that I just won't need to do that. But
Right.
we'll
Just a quick
see.
slide over, dab the foot, pivot, turn over,
Yeah.
good to go.
Yeah,
Next rock.
exactly. That's why I'm working on my strength now. Like,
Yeah.
you're a tall guy, you've got arms like length. I don't have
Mhm.
that. So I have to work really hard to be able to do the stuff that comes really easy to you. So
Mm.
lucky. So next
Right.
time you go to put a foot down
Sometimes.
when you're riding, just think of me and you'll be like, ha ha ha, Angel can't do this.
Right. Hey, look, my toes touch.
If you can have your foot on one peg and have your other foot on the ground, whether it's tiptoeing or not, that's still more than I can
Yep. I'll try to
do.
take that in consideration next time I'm out and about.
Yeah. It'll be great. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this today. I know we had some technical difficulties, but you're a
Yeah,
trooper. So,
absolutely. Thank you for inviting me on and let you hear
yeah, of
my little story.
course.
So it's always good fun.
Of course. Yeah, it's awesome. I think it's really cool to hear from different perspectives. Like I said, we've heard from people who are, hardcore racers. And it's cool to see people who, are really looking at it from the passion side and not necessarily from competition. I mean, I think everybody, even in competition, has passion still, but you're
Absolutely.
doing it for fun. You're doing it, it's something you're going to be able to do with your son as he gets older. And
Hmm.
it's really cool to see the work that you're doing with the Golden Eagles and being able to put back into the community. I think that's really awesome. So thank you for
Yeah,
doing
for
that.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. And then, yeah, hopefully, if anyone sees this and watches this and thinks, hey, I'd like to try bikes someday, just go do it. Go get a bike,
Yeah.
find a buddy with two if you can, and yeah, give it a shot. It's pretty fun. So it's a lifelong sport.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Hmm.
So is there anybody that you want to shout out before we go?
Shout out before we go.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a couple cut off sleeve guys out there who might get to see this, and they're a good fun time too. There's an inside joke there. They'll get to see it. So yeah. Other words, next time I race a couple of my guys, I'm gonna stuff them up onto a turn. It's their turn to get stuffed up high.
Alrighty then. That sounds
Yeah, I'll
interesting.
leave it. I'll leave it at that. I won't drop names, but they know who they are.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. It's out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Well,
thank you
thanks
again for
again.
taking the time. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely.